Jesus crucified. It was a gloomy morning on a hill called Golgotha, the place of the skull. There was no battle, no riot, but a man was being crucified. A single man, an innocent man. His name was Jesus. And this was not the death of a criminal. This was the sacrifice of a king, not crowned with gold, but crowned with thorns. Not seated on a throne, but hanging on a cross. Before Jesus was crucified, he had been unfairly tried. Accusations were made, stories were made up. Those who had shouted Hosanna now shouted, "Crucify him!" Pilate, the Roman governor, knew full well that Jesus was innocent. But he washed his hands, not to cleanse him of sin, but to clear him of responsibility. Jesus was scourged. The whip with its iron hooks and splinters of bone tore at his flesh. Each blow was a pain that pierced his soul. Then he carried the cross. Step by step, exhausted, with blood running down his back, he dragged himself toward Golgotha. No one forced him. It was love that drove him. On the high hill, they stripped him of his clothes, nailed his hands and feet to the wood. The sound of hammers echoed between heaven and earth, the sound of steel piercing the flesh of God's beloved Son. And when the cross was raised, Jesus hung between earth and heaven, an intermediary between heaven and humanity. Beside him were two thieves. One sarcastically said, "If you are the Messiah, save yourself and save us." The other said, "Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom." Jesus replied, "Today you will be with me in paradise." In the midst of extreme pain, God still gave life. Jesus did not complain. He did not curse. He simply said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. Woman, here is your son. Disciple, here is your mother. I thirst. My God, why have you forsaken me? It is finished. Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." And then he gave up his spirit, not because he was exhausted, but because he chose to complete the plan of redemption. He died so that we might live. As soon as Jesus breathed his last, the earth began to shake. Darkness fell everywhere for 3 hours. The veil in the temple was torn in two, from top to bottom, not by man, but by God. It was a declaration that from now on, there would be no distance between man and God. A Roman centurion saw it all, bowed his head, and said, "Truly, this man was the Son of God." They thought they had killed a man, but in fact, they had unwittingly completed the plan of salvation for all mankind. Jesus was buried in a stone tomb, but that was not the end. It was only an ellipsis, because 3 days later, the tomb was empty. Jesus rose again. Death was defeated. Sin was washed away. The cross, a symbol of humiliation, now became a symbol of victory. You don't have to hang yourself on a cross. Jesus did it for you. You don't have to try to save yourself by your own merits. Because salvation is a gift, free, but priceless. Lord Jesus, I thank you for being crucified in my place. Because of your love, I am forgiven. Please let me live a life worthy of that redemption. Amen.